Hi everyone, welcome to Astronomy and Coffee. I know it has been a while, so let's do a Christmas special today. Take a look at some deep sky objects that have some astronomical and Christmas themes to it, and also look at the Star of Bethlehem to see what it might have been. All that coming up on the next Astronomy and Coffee. So yes, let me get my... There we go. Hey, a little spacesuit there. Christmas-themed spacesuit. So yes, December is very busy for me here at the Museum and Planetarium. I've been working on a new Sky Tonight show. Look at me over here. This is what I typically use, the Digital Sky program here in my Skyscan. So yeah, every season we do a new Sky Tonight show, both a pre-recorded version, like a movie version, and a live version, as well as some stargazing and some more different versions for younger audiences. But this is the program I usually use. There's far more buttons to this, like this stuff over here, all kinds of different stuff. Just a brief look at this. This is the sky you will see on the planetarium dome. I'm just doing some daily motion right now, and to do things in this and to make it possible on the dome, you'd have to program buttons like this. And so this is the inside of this button right here, scene 1. This is I was making an automated version of this show. And within this button, you have all these different lines of code, and all these little lines of code do things on the dome, and it places a camera in certain coordinates in space, and it makes some certain motions and brings certain things out, and all kinds of different stuff. Anything that you'd want to see on the dome requires scripting of some kind, and this is like a proprietary script from Digital Sky here that makes the planetarium do all the things that it does. So I was diligently working on that, and that is why I was gone for a month, because my computer was completely bogged down with stuff. Also, we have a new show coming up called 321 Liftoff, and I've been working on that show, getting that one ready, and now it is ready to go, and we will be debuting that in the planetarium on January 27th. Brand new show, great for kids and adults alike. Fantastic little show there. Let me get rid of some stuff over here, and let's talk a little bit about some Christmas themed objects we can find in our nighttime sky. I am currently pulling up my different program here called Stellarium over there. We'll get to that one in a second there. But I want to talk a little bit about, hang on. Okay, so I got a new phone recently. I want to try different angles out here on my phone. There you go. All right. Okay, so anyways, let's talk a little bit about the Christmas tree cluster. It's around 2,500 light years away from us. It is called the Christmas tree cluster, and this can be found in our very own Milky Way galaxy and in the constellation Monoceros. Well, whenever you look at this, you should know that from here to here, it stretches some 2.25 light years across. So, what are we seeing here? Well, the twinkling lights on the tree you see here. I'm going to bring up a different picture, because this does not look like a Christmas tree whatsoever. Let's bring up this picture right here. That looks more like a Christmas tree. So, the twinkling lights on the tree that you're seeing here, this is courtesy of the Chandra X-ray, and these are young stars. Now, the greenish color of the tree is courtesy of optical data collected by the National Science Foundation's WIN Observatory, the W-I-Y-N Observatory. Now, what we're seeing here is the Emission Nebula. So this is a young cluster of stars ranging in age from 1 to about 5 million years old. Pretty young. Now, our own star, the Sun, we're at about 5 billion years old. We still have some time to go. Well, in this animation provided by NASA, the twinkling lights that are these stars you see on the Christmas tree, these little twinkling lights you see here, this is the result of a variety of things. Now, just like how our own sun produces solar flares, these stars also produce solar flares, but with much greater energy. It's also believed that the material falling onto the stars from the surrounding circumstellar disks also provide the twinkling effect, exaggerated here in the little GIF style photo. Now, there's also something called the Christmas Tree Galaxy Cluster. It is something I don't really have in any of my databases right now, so I can't really show you a fly-up animation of it, but I can show you a picture of it. And what's cool is, when you see this picture, you are looking at the gravitational lensing apparent in the photograph. Now, to me, this does not look like a Christmas tree at all, but it got its name from all the different colored stars within it. So it looks kind of like Christmas tree lights, all those multicolored lights you would put on a Christmas tree. And yes, the gravitational lensing is pretty interesting to look at. Now, this happens when a particularly massive object bends the light from the objects that are beyond it. Now, we have that out of the way. And I want to talk a little bit about the Star of Bethlehem. And we do have a show in the planetarium called the Star of Bethlehem that deals with what the Star of Bethlehem could have been and could have been interpreted by. Now, as the story goes, very briefly, the three wise men in the story saw the appearance of a very bright object in the sky that they interpreted to mean the birth of Christ. And they followed this bright star-like object for weeks until they finally reached the birthplace of Jesus. Well, it goes without saying, there has been some considerable debate about what this object could have been. Now, was it a star? Was it a supernova? Was it a comet? Was it a meteor? Well, I can tell you some of the things it probably was not. And that is going to be, first off, a meteor. It's not going to be a meteor because meteors burn up pretty fast in the atmosphere and certainly would not be hanging around for weeks at a time. So meteors, I believe, are going to be out. Now, comets are unlikely because around that time, the ancient people saw the presence of comets as being bad omens and not necessarily a sign of the birth of the Son of God. So I would say that comets would be out too. Now, a supernova is a pretty decent hypothesis since these bright objects can linger in the sky for months at a time. However, they are very rare to see and have been documented already for several thousand years. So we know, and we have a pretty good idea of when these supernovae have happened, when they have happened. So there also has not been evidence found of any supernova remnant that dates back to the time of the birth of Christ. Now, in fact, the only supernova recorded actually happened in and around that time was in the year 185 AD, and this was noted by Chinese astronomers. So this leads us to planetary conjunctions. Now, planetary conjunction is when two planets appear very close together in the sky. Now, you may remember back in 2020, there was the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Now, I remember the news media came out to the planetarium and talked to me about what it might look like in the sky. Here I am, being very professional. Well, that was back in 2020. Well, it's pretty easy to roll back the clock with modern software to see where planets would have appeared in the sky at any given moment. So I'll go back over here to Stellarium here. I'm going to go back to that time, around that time there. Let's take a look at what the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn would look like. So, and there have been other dates and times suggested as well, but we can see here in the sky of that 7 BC that the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn did appear very close together. They did appear very close together. This could be interpreted as the Star of Bethlehem, the Christmas star. After all, we are not quite clear of when things happened in the biblical sense. It wasn't quite well documented as far as when exactly things happened. What it comes down to is that nothing really lines up very well with the original story told in the book of Matthew, and we'll never really know what the Star of Bethlehem was. But be that as it may, in the hearts of all those that gather together this time of year, the mythical light continues to shine brightly. After all, the spirit of hope and goodwill in this tale lies not with the historical accuracy, but in the joy it inspires and the connection it fosters. As we exchange gifts today, share stories, and extend acts of kindness, we embody the true essence of the season, embracing the enchantment that comes with belief even in the face of uncertainty. Whether the star graced the sky over Bethlehem or not, its enduring legacy lives on in the compassion and joy that unite us during this most festive time of year. And with that, I hope you all have a great Christmas day today. Are you enjoying your coffee along with me? As I am out of coffee today, I did consume some before joining you here. Your coffee, your wine, your popcorn, mashed potatoes, chocolate, hot chocolate, whatever it might be. Don't forget the pets, your dogs, your cats. I hope you got them something as well. Some chew toys, some little catnip-filled mice. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will possibly see you next week if I'm not bogged down with stuff to do for another Astronomy Coffee.